everybody. Today we have with us our very gorgeous, actually my very, very dear friend, Kitty Kalra. Kitty is a celebrity fitness trainer and a Pilates expert. Fitness has always been her mantra, but recovering from an accident sparked a desire in her to create a society with healthy and injury-free bodies. What started as a passion soon became the most sought after new age fitness mantra. She has also been the recipient of the prestigious Bharat Nirman Award 2016. Wow, Kitty, I didn't know this. I'm glad I'm getting to know a lot of things about you today. And she has also won the Global Spa Fit and Fab Award last year, I think. Last year. She's a fitness anchor on Hotstar with her show Fitness and Beyond, on Airtel Digital's TV fitness channel, Fitness Studio on Red FM and Nami Live, reaching out to millions in India. Fantastic. I'm getting more and more impressed. Her articles have been covered in Business World, HT City, Delhi Times, Aaj Tak, and many more. With an elite list of clients, including Bollywood celebrities, sports personalities, and fashion designers, she teaches fitness through different challenging routines, building long-term sustainable goals with the right guidance for the mind, body, and soul. And today we are so happy to have her with us to guide people on our Synth Global Spa Wellfest. Kitty, welcome. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, but today is even more special. Tell us, what workout do you think for all age groups should one do? A standard workout that we all should follow without pain.
So I know 2020 has been a challenging year and we all went a little extra mile to stay fit, to build immunity, to be healthier and come out alive. And that's why I say that whatever we were doing, we need to continue doing that, but go a little extra mile now more beyond just those 10,000 steps. Right. We need to bring in more strength training, Parinita, because that is what is actually going to keep us fitter, our bones stronger, and we need to continue doing a little more than what we were doing last year. So the workouts that actually work very well for everybody, it's according to the age category, plus there are illnesses or health issues that are involved. But I would just say that for all the age groups, what is very important is strength training right now. Right. But if you're in an age category from 20 to 35, then you guys can all pull up your cardio a little more. You can do 4 days of cardio and bring in strength training for 3 days, or a combination of a 35-40 minutes of cardio with a 20 minutes of strength training. Because strength training is what actually helps you build muscle. Okay. And if we build muscle, it's a beautiful way to actually stay fitter than just doing cardio. Plus, I want to give you all a tip here that muscle is the only age reversing organ that we have in our body. So as we age, every organ starts deteriorating or functioning less because of our age, but muscle is the only organ that we can build up and take it higher. And that's the reason why you guys can look younger, not only in your physical appearance, but also internally through your bones and bone density and everything. So it's very important, 35 plus till 50 and 50 plus. Strength training is very, very important for all of us. And by strength training, I mean weights. And it's not just weights. A lot of us do not like to lift weights, but you can bring in some form of resistance training. Okay. It's like a TheraBand workout, or you have a ball workout, or a Pilates circle. You have the TRX suspension training. So these are all ways, even swimming. Anything which is resistance training or yoga and Pilates on the mat as well works beautifully as a body weight training. So it works as resistance, and that's where you build muscle. So if you're on age group 35 plus till 50, I would say that focus more 4 days on strength training and bring in cardio depending on your knee health, back health. Do 20 minutes of cardio for sure, so that you can build up cardiorespiratory endurance for your heart and lungs as well. Right. Post 50, of course, you got to slow down with your high intensity workouts. You got to slow down with your cardio. But then that's where those 10,000 steps really matter. So do go in for a brisk walk, pick up yoga, stretches, and do light intensity workouts. And if you want to do lunges, squats, they are fabulous, building abs, everything you can still do after 50, but you just need to bring down the intensity so you do not get injuries. So that's
if you have already been doing all these exercises, then I don't think it should matter. You're saying about starting after 50. Or is
no, I'm saying if you're really starting after 50, then you need to start with simple basic walks. Okay. And yoga or Pilates is fabulous because it's all low intensity workouts, Parinita. Right. But if you've already been continuing and you've been doing workouts all your life, or maybe for the past 5 years or 10 years, then you just need to be mindful of what your health issues are or what works for you. Like for me, honestly, I brought down my cardio now. Okay. And I do more of swimming. I do cycling, which is cardio, but it doesn't really take my heart rate up. So I'm not worried about my heart health declining or my lung health declining beyond a point. So if you've been working out, then you need to just modify it a little bit. So don't go in for fad workouts. Don't go in for crazy stuff that the whole world is doing, or because a friend at 50 is doing and she's looking fab or he's looking fab. It doesn't matter. We have to start listening to our body.
Correct. So, absolutely right. Absolutely. So will you show us some quick exercises, Kitty, that people can do at any age?
Yeah, I'll show you a few exercises. And also I want to bring in here that building core strength is very, very important, guys. Yes. Because that is what the whole body weight and the functionality of your body is all dependent on your core. And with core, we don't just mean abs. A lot of people think core is only abs, but honestly, it's the trunk from right at your shoulders till your pelvis. Okay. So that's why building in your upper back strength, your chest strength, your obliques, your abs, plus your glutes. It's very important because that is going to help in the functionality of all the body parts, plus give you strength that will actually help you with your workouts. So it will enhance your results better if your core is stronger. So I'm going to show you a quick 5 or 7 minute of workouts and some exercises that you have to do every day. And you honestly, guys, a lot of people don't work out because they think that you need 1 hour of exercise. It's really not. In my classes, like in the morning, we did a 15-minute workout and we burned 220 calories. And it was not cardio. It was just standing ab workout. So you have to do quality and move over the quantity figure of 1 hour. Correct. You have to work out for 25 minutes for 5 days a week, guys. That's where fitness comes in. So I'm going to quickly show you a few workouts and what you can do every day. If you can see my mat. Clear?
Yeah, we can see your mat.
I also have a few accessories here that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
For strength training. Like this is a nice mini ball.
Okay.
It's a great workout accessory to build core because it challenges your balance stability. Okay. So once you start graduating, you can pick up these accessories, which is like a mini ball here. The TheraBand is a beautiful accessory to build arm strength, leg strength, and a lot of rehab work as well.
Okay.
When we have injuries, when we pull a muscle here and there, this is what comes in handy. Also, guys, it's a beautiful piece to travel and carry with you. Right. I always carry a TheraBand when I travel because it takes no space in my suitcase. But you do a little bit of workout with it. You build strength in your arms. You do a little leg workout. So it really works beautifully.
Tell us something about the color that you're using, because I know there's yellow, red, green. Why are you using red?
So the red is a medium strength here. And the yellow is the lightest. Okay. So also depends on what brand you're picking up. Like if I talk about TheraBand, because there are so many brands that do the same bands. But if you pick up a TheraBand company, then yellow is the least intensity. So if you're a beginner, or if you're doing rehab, if you're doing injury, rehabilitation and not a workout, then the yellow is a beautiful color to work out and start with. Then you graduate to a green or a red, which is a slightly medium intensity.
Okay.
Also for the legs, I would suggest that you need to go into a higher intensity. The red, yellow and green work very well for upper body because it's not all that strong. But our legs and lower body is more stronger. We have, better muscle strength there. So you can go in for a blue or a black or a silver.
Okay.
Which is even heavier intensity. So if you're doing any kind of a workout for your legs, then it will work better if it's a little heavier for you to build the inner thigh or outer thigh or glute strength. So that's about the colors. But try and pick up this accessory and start learning how to work out with accessories, because that's where strength and resistance training comes in.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm going to show you a little bit of core workout here. We're going to start, I'll just show you about 4 or 5 reps. And then I'll keep talking about it. So because posture alignment is very important, guys. Right. And if you have a posture issue, we all need to be a little more alert, because that is an indicator of a weak core. Okay. So I want to tell you here, what are the signs that you can understand your own body and figure out if you have a weak core? If you take time to stand up from a chair or your bed, you have a weak core. If you have a lower back pain, you have a weak core. If you cannot hold a plank beyond 30 seconds, you have a weak core. If you have posture issues, that's also a weak core. So those are all the indicators. If you start building your core strength, your glute strength, then you will build overall strength and balance, stability issues, flexibility, everything becomes better. Okay. So the basic exercise that we do for the core is, of course, ab crunches. I'm going to show you an easier version, which is a simple modified version of pulling up your upper body and giving us crunches. This is for beginners. The people who want to work harder can actually lift up their feet and go, open up their legs and drop their feet back to tabletop. And your gaze should always be at your toes, guys. So don't keep hanging your neck up to the ceiling, because it will start giving you neck issues or shoulder issues sooner or later. So the basic one is about 15 reps of each exercise is what we should do. Then we can do some oblique work here. Again, lift up your toes here and your feet in tabletop. One hand can be up parallelly placed. Reaching one elbow to the knee. And similarly, other side. And the easier version is simply keep your knees down and reach up. Opposite towards the opposite knee here. And then we have a single leg stretch, lift up here. You can keep your hands there. Making sure that your returning leg comes to tabletop and not down here. Keep looking at your knees or your toes. You want to make it harder. You can bring in a little oblique work. Keep breathing out all through. After this, lift up here, drop your opposite heel and arm back. Bring back your arms to the ceiling. So if you watch me here, it's all about stabilizing the other body parts, which are not moving. So this is all building core strength. And then you can come into a great plank, which is the best way of building core. Even if you have a bad back, the core is the plank is the most strengthening exercises for your back. You can just hold it here for the next 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute. And then graduate from here. One arm raise. Make sure your hips, your back is in one line. And then you can move into a nice side plank, which is going to start working on your obliques. You can make it harder by lifting your feet off there. And so both my legs are off. This is a progressive version. Making it easier, you can drop one knee down and keep working your elbow towards your knee. So you work on the obliques. You make it harder. This is a harder version. crunch in the front and use your obliques. Apart from this, pull up your knees. Learn how to stay there for 10 seconds. And from here, we will start some walks, forward and back. 2 forward, 2 back. 2 forward. Like I said, 10 to 15 reps, whatever you can manage. After this, keep your feet 4 inches off the mat and give me obliques here. Twisting to the side, back to the center. And come down. If you have a back issue, you need to go into some kind of stretches after every 2 exercises. So you go into a child's pose or a shell stretch, so it eases out your spine. And then let's build up some glute strength, because glutes or hip is very important to strengthen for the core and for people who have lower back issues. You can come in a plank here and just give me some leg raises. Make sure that your neck, your back and hips are all in one line. A lot of people drop their neck down and slowly they will start having spondylitis and neck issues. So make sure that your neck is in line with your upper back. Then, also making it easier, you can put that one knee down and do the same work. And then give me some donkey kicks where you're pushing your heel up to the ceiling. Keep breathing out. The breathing out is very important for the effectiveness of the exercises. Donkey kicks. And then last one is turning the knee out and in. And come back. I'll show you 2 more. Reverse crunches is a very good way also, and it's a good one for people who have lower back issues. So you will lift up. If you want to make it harder here, I would say keep your feet close to each other, drop to the side, crunch to the center, drop to the side. So you're doing some obliques as well with your abs. And come down. Lastly, you can do some bridges here, which are great for the back. Stay up in a bridge and you will do some leg lifts. Make sure that your hip and glutes are lifted up all through. And then last one, you can do some sitting up crunches and lowering your lower back. Stay here and toe taps. So you can see that we've held either holding our core or abs so strongly there to balance and not fall. And then you can do one leg stretch here. Of course, these are the progressive exercises and more advanced. And always hug yourself after you do 2 exercises. So these are some of the few exercises, Pranita, that we can do, and to build some basic hip and leg strength. You will do your lunges. People who have a knee issue will go into a back lunge and not a front lunge. Okay, so it's a lunge. You can do your cross lunges, which are going back and sideways. These are simple stuff. Squats here. So a combination of the leg with your core is a great way to just build a lot of toning and getting fitter.
You do it so gracefully. You really make it look so simple. Tell me, what is the role of breathing in all these exercises? Because we saw that you were breathing, there was a lot of focus on your breathing.
Yes, so that is what Pilates is. Real Pilates is all about the breath. So basically, when we breathe with every exercise, whether it's Pilates or whether you're doing it in the gym, it helps push the blood flow.
Okay.
That's the whole purpose. If you hold your breath, your muscles and joints become too tensed.
Right.
But when you're breathing out through your abs, so we actually exhale through the abs and you pull your abs in when you exhale. So that's how it is. Plus, it's beautiful because in Pilates, Parinita, when you keep breathing out and you keep contracting your abs, you're doing like an ab crunch every time you breathe. So it's like the crunch that you do every time. So basically, if you're doing about 40 exercises into 10 reps, 400 times, you're doing the breathing, you are crunching your abs 400 times in a class.
Absolutely. So tell me, for somebody who has knee issues, is it okay to do squat?
Yes. Knee issues is really nothing. I think it's just more hyped.
Okay.
We all sit and get up, which is like a squat.
Right, of course.
So I don't know how many times we squat in the day. So it's just a mental block that you should not squat, you should not do lunges if you have a knee issue. You can just be intelligently doing them. So when you squat or you lunge, you have to make sure that your knee doesn't cross your toe.
Okay.
So that's the main point in a lunge or a squat. But knee strengthening side by side is very important. And that's why the TheraBand is a beautiful piece of accessory to build knee strength. Okay. So if you just put it around your toe and you open up your knee and you close your knee, or you take your knee left and right with a straight leg. So you have to start building up, and it does take time. Of course, you've got to be careful about not wearing heels if you're a woman, and a little bit of avoiding the stairs for a while. Okay. Also, you cannot work out any body part if you're having pain, guys. Okay. You need your muscles to heal, injury to heal, and then you can start the strengthening or the physiotherapy or the rehabilitation programs.
Okay. But stiff muscles is okay. Like pain, there's a difference between pain and stiff muscles. So you should exercise stiff muscles.
So if it's the stiff muscles because of a workout, there is a difference. There is that sweet pain after a workout when you do it after 2 months or 3 months. That is totally okay. You have to continue to work out. But if there is discomfort and if there is an ouch because you did some muscle work which probably gave you a wear and tear, then we need to again let the muscle heal, do a lot of icing onto that stiff muscle, and it will heal in 2 days and you'll know. And then you can start the strengthening work or a very light workout.
Okay. So tell me, when you work out, should you do strength training first or cardio first?
There are really no rules about what you can do first. But honestly, if you do cardio first, you will become so tired that while you're doing strength training, you probably already have tired muscles, which are not going to pay attention to the alignment. So for me, I personally prefer, and it works for a lot of us, and a lot of trainers would recommend this if they're good trainers, that you must do strength training first. Okay. And then bring up cardio, because cardio, you do not really need a posture alignment or mindful alignment work. But in strength training, like I was just showing you my plank, and I kept talking about the alignments, that your neck has to be so and so, your back has to be like this, don't fall, don't let your pelvis drop, stuff like that. So that is only maintained when your muscles are warmed up and they are fresh. When they are tired after a half an hour cardio session, they're really not going to listen to you, you see. Right. So also I would say, if you're doing strength training in the morning, you can divide your workouts. Do a cardio in the evening.
Okay. So people say that you should do your entire exercise in one go. Is it okay to do it 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes?
It's totally okay. Parinita, whatever works for you, whatever time works for you. There is nothing like a morning workout is the best, or just do it in the morning. There are some people who don't have time in the morning, and there are some who have time in the evening. It's just that in the morning, you are more fresh. And you will work out and start your routine. Towards the evening, when you're already tired, maybe a lot of us just become a little lethargic and lazy, that I'm too tired to work out. Only that part becomes a little hindrance. But otherwise, from your body point of view, you can work out 3 times in a day. Like if you're doing a set workout, a circuit, you can do 2 circuit sets in the morning and do 1 in the evening. At least you've done something. I mean, it's better than not moving at all.
Yeah. Okay. And also there's a lot of people say that treadmill is bad for the knees. Is that fact or myth?
See, if you're not, if it's an incline, which is bad for your knees, then it'll start impacting your knee health, you know, if it's really on a high incline. Secondly, also an age factor comes into play. Right. It's too much of cardio, Parinita. Thirdly, if you're not balanced training, you have to balance your strength training and the treadmill. Correct. You're just weakening your knees continuously by running on that treadmill mindlessly for 1 hour. But are you really working around that knee or working to help that knee to help you function the next day?
Right.
So treadmill, I never do the treadmill because I just find better ways of cardio. Honestly, I love to dance, which is awesome, which is equal cardio. You can pick up your heart rate, bring it down. You can mix your dance with burpees. You can do mountain climbers in the dance, jump down, lift up, do crazy stuff again. Plus, I do cycling, swimming. So there are better ways of doing a cardio. Treadmill, you can do for 20-25 minutes, but make sure that it works for your back and your knee.
Right. So what is now the relationship between diet and exercise?
I know, and this is a question that I think a lot of people who follow diets would really want to know, because a lot of dietitians don't tell you to work out when you're dieting, guys, which is just not done, because you will be hungry and you will eat more. So obviously you will not drop your weight, which is the problem that dietitians face if people are working out. But if you're not going to eat a healthy diet, you will not have the energy to work out. Right. And you will not build muscle and strength. So that's where you need to work out if you're also on a diet. Vice versa, if you're working out, you need to have a healthy diet, because it's not going to give you the kind of energy from your healthy carbs or your good fats and proteins to push your workout better, prevent you from injuries, help you build muscle and give you that energy. So there is a great relationship between diet and exercise, which we all need to understand if we want to live up into a healthier lifestyle. Right. It's equally important to follow a nutritious diet and workout, because they both complement each other.
Yeah. What are your views about intermittent fasting?
I know, I get to hear that a lot of times. Again, I would just say that listen to your body. Everybody is different. Do not follow fad diets, fad workouts. And Parinita, I cannot fast a single day. I used to only do Karva Chauth, which also I gave up 3 years ago because my body wasn't allowing me to. So I do not follow any ketos, any Atkins diet, any pineapple diets, milk and banana, cabbage, intermittent fasting. It doesn't work for me. I need food every 2 hours because that's how I have built my system and my metabolism. But it does work for a lot of people. And I know a friend who's into Ayurveda, and they do say the same thing, that if you do not eat post 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, the body is actually throwing out toxins and garbage around 2 or 3 a.m. Right. That's what the body's work is. So it needs that rest time. It's like when you're emptying your cupboard and cleaning. What do? We first need to throw out all the clothes that we do not need. Correct. And then we again pack them up in a proper way. So that's what the body does at night. So it works if you do not eat for 10, 12, 14 hours. But then, like I just said, if it doesn't work for you, see it and then do it. Like I would faint. If I don't get food, I honestly faint. So my blood pressure really drops. So you have to see a lot of health conditions and then do it.
Absolutely. So tell me, why is it so important to build muscle?
Like I said, muscle is the only age reversing organ that we have. If you have muscle, you have better bone health. You have better bone density. And a lot of us face especially women face osteoarthritis, osteoporosis post 50, 55. And that's where muscle comes into play. So if you have muscle, you will start building overall health. And a human being actually loses 8% of muscle per decade. And post 40, this doubles up.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're losing a percentage of muscle every year, but are you building it up? Because if you don't build muscle, you are shrinking your own fitness inside. It might not look on the outside, but you're reducing your own health on the inside. So you've got to keep building it up. Also, obviously, with food, have the right protein-rich foods, lean meats, eggs, fish, protein, omega, stuff like that. But you've got to build muscle if you want to stay fitter and healthier and stable. Because slowly, when muscles start dropping in, your overall inner health will drop. You will have balance issues, you will have falls, fractures, stuff like that, which a lot of people we see in the old age go through. So it's very important. Plus, muscle is what gives you, like I said, it's an age reversing organ. I mean, I'm not really trying to tell you that I look younger than, you know, I'm not.
But you do. That's a fact.
Yeah, but
we talked about the body. Tell me, how do you build muscle or keep your face toned?
So meditation. You know, it's very important. We've talked about the body, and I'm glad you asked me this because it is so important to build mental health and well-being. And that is what actually shows on the face. So, of course, everybody is not made to sit and meditate, or you cannot go into that spiritual thing. It's everyone's journey. We cannot really be that. But we all need to mentally start working a little towards that, to be with ourselves, to think more positive, to start learning to let go. And my biggest tool, honestly, is forgiveness and gratitude. I have these two tools that I work on every day at night before I sleep. And I think it really keeps me light inside my mind and my heart and soul. And that is what reflects on your face, apart from eating really healthy. I do a lot of citrus fruits. I do a lot of antioxidant berries. I rely on a lot of blueberries and strawberries and stuff like that. Pineapple, they're all great antioxidants. So that's how you can work on your face and your outer glow if you eat right and if you think right. So being positive is very important.
Any exercises for the face you'd like to recommend?
Yeah, so I would just say, of course, nothing like meditation when you just shut the whole world out and you look so calm. But I do a lot of face lifting exercises. Like if you keep your two fingers here and if you take it here, bring it down. So it's like a lymphatic massage. Take it there and drop it down, bring it here. So do this about 10 times. And then similarly, take your fingers, take it around, lift it up, massage it there, and then drop it down. From your laugh lines, rub it in there, slightly rounded massage, and then bring it back. Take the palms, massage this 10 times, pressing it across. So I just do these three because it looks after my forehead lines, it does my laugh lines, it covers my chin, and you can also do a little bit of neck massage. So these are what actually work for the face, and you get a lot of tools now. You get a lot of face lifting derma rollers, you get the gua sha, you get the jade roller. They actually work very well. So if you pick them up and you combine them with good oils and serums, hyaluronic serum, vitamin C serum, then they really work for the face as well.
Fantastic. So Kitty, that's been really, really interesting. And I'm sure all our audience has learned a lot from this session. I, for one, I'm going to try this 25-minute workout that you have just recommended. Although I have a bad back, but I think I'll be able to do it. Not as gracefully as you, but I think I'm going to do a video and send it to you.
Yeah, just do that and do the modified versions and start building up on back health. You'll be able to do it even better than me, and then we can do a class together.
Sounds like such a plan.
No. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Global Spa. Keep shining and keep bringing the best to us always.
Thank you, Kitty. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.